Call to order the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners, December 23rd, 2025 regular meeting. Please silence your phones and other electronic devices. Please stand for the invocation by Pastor Scott, Greenville Methodist, followed by the invocation.
Let's pray. Father God, we come before you with gratitude and thank you for being a God of love that's with us now in this very room. Your grace has brought us safe thus far, and your grace will lead us home. We thank you for making each one of us in this room, every citizen of this county and every county, in your image with dignity and infinite worth. We thank you for the calling you have given every one of us to be good stewards of your creation, to love our neighbors as ourselves. We pray for wisdom and strength, for courage to do what is right and good for all citizens. May we put the interest of others above our own. May we be good neighbors in everything we do and say this evening. We thank you for this board, our county staff, our first responders, and all who work to make this county we call home a better place. It's in the precious name of Jesus we pray.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is to adopt the agenda. Do we have any additions or subtractions to the agenda?
We have two additions. I'll let him give the second. The first addition is I noticed on the agenda under the future meeting and holidays, I forgot to include that we were closed on Thursday, January the 1st for New Year's Day. So I need to add that.
Thursday. Okay.
Mr. Chair, under new business, we need to add number 6, Marsh McLennan Agency, workers' compensation renewal.
No.
Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the modified agenda?
Second.
All in favor? Presentations today?
No, sir. No, sir.
Finance report.
Yes, sir. Commissioners, on the front page are the bank balances as of today. Also listed are the interest amounts received for the investment accounts. At the bottom of the page are the lost, and T-SPLOST distributions we have received in November. We should receive the ones for December next week. On the second page, you will see the balances for the SPLOST and T-SPLOST. The SPLOST balance right now is a negative $635,000. That is due to the commitment for the phase 1 of the courthouse remodel, and no advances have been made from the general fund yet. Right now, our T-SPLOST balance is $701,000.
Any questions about the financial report? Department heads here to speak.
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Is there no citizen comment?
No, sir. No, sir.
So the next item is the minutes from December 8th, 2025, regular meeting at 6 p.m. Any changes to them? All motion approved.
No changes noted unless you have anything. Okay.
I make a motion we approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor?
I abstain.
I just make sure.
Yep.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember to abstain the last meeting for one of myself. Next is a public hearing for ordinance amendment 25-05, amendments to chapter 4 alcoholic beverages, the Meriwether County Code of Ordinances. We have a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor? Public hearing at 6:04.
Commissioners, the item scheduled before public hearing is for the board to vote to adopt ordinance amendment 25-05, which includes a comprehensive update to chapter 4 alcoholic beverages of the Meriwether County Code of Ordinances. The updates are necessary following the May 28, 24 public hearing and the voter approved referendum authorizing the sale of distilled spirits by the package. While the focus was to incorporate provisions related to that referendum, staff determined a full review of the chapter was appropriate to address the inconsistencies, outdated references, and typographical errors that had accumulated over time. In your packet, there is an attached ordinance. The alcohol ordinance is in full. Some of the attached red line ordinance summary worksheets I sent you prior, but there is in this that you have, there are red marks. There are informational items. Basically, what these changes include is clarification of licensing procedures and the responsibilities for the Director of Community Development, including authority to suspend licenses in certain circumstances. Correction of numerous typographical and formatting errors across definitions, license categories, and application procedures. We updated procedures for enforcement and penalties, including clear guidance on hearings, suspension authority, and appeals. There was refinements to excise tax sections to include distilled spirits and ensure proper fee structures are in place for all beverage categories. And there was clarification of zoning and building requirements for package stores selling distilled spirits. Also adjustments to application procedures for farm wineries and breweries, aligning ordinance language with actual county practices by specifying submission through the Community Development Department. The changes are just intended to ensure clarity, legal compliance, and administrative consistency, and ease of future updates within the community code system. So if you want to go through, you can see, starting on page 15 of your packet, some of the changes that were made under section 2 definitions, 4.2 license. If the business is to be operated, you'll see where it says shall now, shall be a managing full-time employee who assumes an active role in the day-to-day operation of the business, or an attorney with a practice within Meriwether County. Then item number 4 under license representative says the license representative shall be a resident of the county and shall be responsible for receiving all notices concerning said license pursuant to this chapter, or an attorney with a practice in Meriwether County. The next change, if you move on, I believe the next is going to be the big one. To page 22, and this is going to be under letter D. You'll see that originally the sign was to be painted in different. Now it says contrasting background. So instead of it saying a color, we changed that to contrasting background for the signage. Also under letter F, it says this person must be an individual and a resident of the county or an attorney with a practice in Meriwether County. And that's for upon the issuance of the license, the licensee must have and continually maintain in the county a registered agreement upon whom any process, notice, or demand required or permitted by law or under this chapter may be served. The person must be, and we changed that, an individual and a resident of the county or an attorney with a practice in Meriwether County. The next change I believe we can go a few more pages. It's going to be on page 26, and that's the big change. Section 412, suspension or revocation of license. We made this change to state, in the event of one of the following events or violations of this chapter, or an arrest by the sheriff's office related to a violation of the alcohol ordinance or state or federal law concerning the sale or distribution of alcohol, the Director of Community Development may immediately suspend the alcohol license for a period of not more than 30 days until a hearing can be scheduled before the Board of Commissioners. The hearing shall be scheduled as soon as possible and not more than 30 days following the date of suspension. The decision to suspend an alcohol license by the Director of Community Development shall be rendered in writing, state the reasons for the suspension, and shall be mailed or delivered in person to the licensee. For the purpose of this section, the Director of Community Development is authorized to immediately suspend the alcohol license for the following. Number one, violations or actions that result in an arrest by law enforcement of the licensee, an agent of the licensee, including the licensee representative, or an employee of the licensee for a violation of the alcohol ordinance or state or federal law concerning the sale or distribution of alcohol, including but not limited to the sale of alcohol to minors. Number two, violations or actions that result in an arrest by law enforcement of the licensee, an agent of the licensee, including the licensee representative, or an employee of the licensee for a crime of moral turpitude. Number three, the following violations of local, state, or federal laws concerning the sale of or distribution of alcohol. A, revocation of licensee state permit to sell alcoholic beverages. B, notification that the licensee is in bankruptcy, receivership, levy, or legal process, or failure to promptly account for and pay the excise tax levied on the sale of alcoholic beverages. C, failing to meet the licensing qualifications of the alcohol ordinance at any time. D, upon learning that licensee furnished fraudulent or untruthful information in the application for the license or in the operation of the business where the alcoholic beverages are sold. E, on-site events or altercations that result in the arrest of patrons and or employees at the establishment. Then we added letter B, any further consideration of suspension, revocation, or forfeiture of a license by the Board of Commissioners shall occur only after notice and opportunity for a hearing before the Board of Commissioners consistent with the procedures set forth in section 4-14 and upon the following occurrences. The next change was made on the next page, page 28, number 12, all licenses has been changed. So it should say all licenses shall automatically expire on December 31st of each year unless renewed in accordance with current ordinance and regulations. The next section, section 4-13, letter A, any violation of this chapter shall be subject to the licensee shall subject the licensee to the following progressive actions by Meriwether County, and that was changed to Meriwether County, except for those violations and occurrences set forth in section 412 that provides for immediate suspension or revocation upon notice and hearing. The next change is also under section 4-13, letter B. In addition to the available actions to be taken by the Board of Commissioners, we added or the Director of Community Development. Individuals who violate this chapter shall be subject to criminal citation and prosecution by the county code enforcement officer or county sheriff's department. The next change is page 30, section 4-33, excise tax on sale of beer and malt beverages. We added that to state the county, in addition to excise taxes levied by state, does hereby levy a local tax on the sale of beer and malt beverages of 5 cents per 12 ounces and proportionate tax at the same rate on all fractional parts of 12 ounces sold by wholesalers to retail package outlets in the county. Further, there is also levied by the county an excise tax on tap or draft beer of $6 per each bulk container sold by wholesalers to retail package outlets in the county and containing no more than 15.5 gallons and a proportionate tax at the same rate on all fractional parts of 15.5 gallons sold by wholesalers to retail outlets in the county. There was some section 4-35. We added A and B. They were not there before. Page 31 of your packet, section 4-38, we changed that to state licensee shall indicate plainly by tag or label on the bottles or containers or on the shelf immediately below where the containers are placed, the prices of all beer and wine offered for sale. Page 32, section 4-51, we added the word licensee in front of shall indicate plainly by tag or labels on the bottles or containers. Same thing, but this is for distilled spirits. Page 33, section 4-52, letter B, the licensee shall submit to the Director of Community Development annual reports in a form approved by Community Development Director or evidence that the required inventory is being maintained. If you go down to section 4-53, you'll see the letter B was added right before below. Moving on to page 35, section 4-67. The county hereby imposes an excise tax upon every purchase of alcoholic beverage served for consumption on the premises of 3% of the purchase price of said beverage or at a rate set forth from time to time by the Board of Commissioners. That was added. I promise I'm getting close. Page 44, section 4-135. All wholesale dealers engaged in the wholesale distributions of alcoholic beverages to retail package outlets in this county shall pay to the Director of Community Development an excise tax of 22 cents per liter of wine and 22 cents per liter of distilled spirits. Page 47. Section 4-161, an excise tax is hereby levied to be computed at the rate of 22 cents per liter on the first sale or use of the wine by the package, and we added the word "and" shall be paid to the county. A lot of small changes, but. The next large change is page 49 under section 4-203, sale by farm breweries. Letter B, number 2, an applicant for a farm brewery license shall be required to submit a written application to the Community Development Director. In addition to the application, applicant shall provide to the Community Development Director proof that a brewery license has been issued by the State of Georgia Revenue Commissioner. The state brewery license, as well as the Meriwether County Farm Brewery license, must be displayed on the premises at all times upon commencement of the business, including operation of a tasting room. The next change was section 4-204, letter A. The applicant for a farm brewery license shall pay the annual license fee of $750 plus $500 per tasting room location, or an amount as set forth from time to time by the Board of Commissioners. That concludes the changes, and I did also include behind it all the detailed changes for your review.
Can we go back to page 27?
Sure. I'm there.
All right, under 3B, notification of licenses and licensees in bankruptcy, receivership, levy of legal process, or failure to promptly account for or pay. Should that be or pay?
And pay.
Okay.
So we need to add a D. Okay.
Now I only got one question on the same page and same 3, but number E, I can understand that there's a reason to come out and arrest one of the employees for whatever it shall be. I mean, if they've caused a problem or issue to be arrested, I can see where a suspension of license, but it says altercations result in the arrest of patrons and or employees. What if somebody showed up out front that has nothing to do with the place? They're out there, they're harassing people and so forth. The law's called out and they're arrested. Now this businessman's jeopardized his license because they showed up on his property.
This is subject to y'all's changes.
What's that?
This is just subject to y'all's review, so you can change that if y'all want to. It does. It does.
It's like there's altercation in my front yard. The law comes out there. They did this and this and that and got arrested, but now they're going to come in and take something out on me, and I didn't even know they were out there.
I think the intent of that was for the failure of the owner or the licensee to act if there was an altercation, but I don't think it was worded that way. That's right. That's what I'm saying. It can be changed.
On-site events of altercations that result in the arrest of patrons and or employees. And like I said, the employee was doing somebody to a patron or abusive and so forth, and they call the law. They don't need to have those kind of employees, and the owner jeopardized his business. But I think if somebody pulls up out front and it's completely out of control before they got there, the owner should not jeopardize his investment, his whole business because somebody else's attitude. So I don't like that.
We can strike that one. That's fine. I mean, this is just to go through to make sure what I have, we can submit. So we can strike that if the board chooses to. That's fine.
I don't know about striking it.
Or change the wording.
Or reword.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because I agree with Commissioner King on that aspect how it's written, but you also, in years past, we've had locations that continually have arrests take place on their property. And so obviously they're not doing anything to deter that kind of behavior. We need to have something that addresses that and or the employee.
I think that's the intent. Yes. So we just need to come up with a wording.
Right.
But it's also under the section where it says that it's under a 30-day suspension that they could appeal. So if it was suspended temporarily, they could come back because that's what the main section is about. So if we temporarily suspended it until they could come for a hearing to explain their case too.
But it's the wording. If there was a way to word it.
I think that, I agree with you, but if you read the first 2 words, it says on-site events. So in other words, if somebody shows up out in front of a liquor store and has an altercation, that's, to me, that's not an on-site event.
Right.
I think you're talking
What's an
about
on-site event, then what
event
is
is
it
having, if somebody throws a party or has something like that. I mean,
Then that's not worded right then, if that's the case. They shouldn't have an event because we're talking
I mean,
about
that's what it
business
says at
establishment.
first, on-site events.
Y'all can tell me how you want to word it.
So that word events ought to come out.
I mean, an event to me is when you have something, you know, when you have a
Council?
party or something.
I was just gonna point out that all of the 1 through 3, which includes the A through E, fall under, under A, under subsection A. And it does say the director of community development is authorized to immediately suspend. So they can use some judgment in that situation.
They just have the authorization to suspend, but that mean they're required to.
And then to Commissioner Snelson's point, it is subject to appeal and to, a hearing before the board to explain themselves. While the limit is 30 days, the idea is it's supposed to be heard as soon as possible, as soon as possible. But I agree with
The wording
Yeah,
can
but
be changed.
this is all subject to y'all.
My first opinion, I just wish it was worded different because again, somebody comes up there, starts something, gets arrested, and they come out and suspend the license for 30 days. Once that goes on the front page of the paper of that guy who has ran a legit business, has tried so hard to be a pillar in the community, he'll be burned forever because they, oh, did you see in the paper where, so it's just, and he had nothing to do with
Right.
it. So it's just, but yeah, if a patron goes in there and the employee got smart with him and cocky and throw something at him or whatever, they got in a fight and the patron got arrested, well, your employee ought to go with it for starting. So
You could separate the two. E could say something along the lines of, on-site altercation that results in the arrest of employees at the establishment. And then you could put an F that says, you could put maybe a limit like a 3 or more on-site altercations that involve
that makes sense.
patrons. And then that gets to the chairman's point that if they're, I think the chairman pointed out, if they're not doing anything to curb this type of thing, then they could also lose their license. So you could do something along those lines.
I like those words.
So y'all would like to, just change E to state on-site events or altercations that result in the arrest of employees, and then add F, 3 or more on-site events or altercations that result in the arrest of patrons.
To Commissioner Collins' point, events may,
Take events out.
yeah, that may be leading to a.
I see, yeah.
So I would say something along the lines of on-site altercations.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're talking about on the property.
All right, so we'll just use on-site altercations, remove the word event.
And then you could do an F that says on-site altercation, or 3 or more on-site altercations
That result
that
in
result in the
arrest.
arrest of
Patrons.
In the calendar year.
within a time period.
I mean, I would-
Do you want to do both
Then
of
they get an
them?
opportunity to come in to try to
That's
explain or
correct.
Do
show
you want
that
to
they
do
didn't
both
have
of them
nothing to
within a
do.
calendar year?
Or they
So
did.
we're saying with employee, it's just one.
One, okay.
You only-
And then, but patrons within a calendar year, okay. Okay.
Any other comments or notices that need to be adjusted in here? Every year?
I noticed a comma that should have been included earlier. I'll try to pinpoint it for the clerk. On page 28, I'd put a comma after the red line where it says, "Or the director of community development."
Right here. Okay. Got it.
Right? So do we have any,
Anyone?
do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of the changes in this item? Do we have anyone in the audience that would like to speak in opposition to the changes?
Sure, I would recommend that once you close this public hearing, that when you get to the point of voting, you might want to have a clean copy at your next hearing, so it may be a suitable one to table the actual decision to your next one.
So again, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to this ordinance amendment? Okay, if not, do I have a motion to come out of public hearing?
Second.
All in favor? Public hearing 6:25. So, as legal just explained, I would recommend tabling this item till the next
January 12th.
January 12th, 2026 meeting. Staff provide a clean revision to the comments made by the board for approval at that time.
So moved.
All in favor?
Thank you.
No appointments to be made at this time. Next item is unfinished business. Consideration of a proposal from Dean's Commercial Two-Way for radio equipment and site services at Greenville PSC. This item was tabled from the December 8th, 2025 regular meeting.
Commissioners, Dean Commercial Two-Way has submitted a revised quote 1048 totaling $240,226.60 for the equipment and building required at the PSC tower located behind the Texaco right here in Greenville. Funding will come from the General Fund Communications Department. We did get a FEMA reimbursement totaling $138,411.12. That was deposited on September 25th, 2025. That will be applied towards the radio tower replacement. This was earmarked for that purposes through FEMA. The remaining $101,815.48 will be funded from the general fund utilizing interest earned from the LGIP. And I think Dean is here if you have any questions regarding the proposed quote. And this does include a structure for the equipment that Dean has proposed to build out, stud, insulate, AC, everything for the equipment needed. And we do have a co-op on this, and the next item is regarding the agreement between them.
Any questions on the board? You want to make a motion on this item?
I make a motion to approve with the remaining 101,000+ to come from general fund after the FEMA amount is applied.
Second.
All in favor? Next, we'll move to this business is approval of tower attachment lease agreement between Public Service Towers Incorporated, PSC, and Meriwether County.
Commissioners, this agreement is required in order to install equipment on the PSC tower. The structural engineering report is still pending. The agreement has been forwarded to PSC with revisions requested by legal, and we are awaiting PSC's acceptance of those changes. Staff requests approval of this agreement contingent upon legal review and authorization for the chair and vice chair to sign the agreement. And like I said, we do have a co-op, so it's just a matter of working out the language on the contract agreement.
So, and then legal is going to review.
Once PSC comes back to either accept or modify the changes, then legal will go.
I think I'd frame it as if they accept all of our changes, then we approve it with the suggested changes already done, or approve, or you could either bring it back, or you could have it approved, subject to legal, as an alternative. Because as Chairman, as County Administrator Gordon said, they're waiting to hear back on the proposed changes.
I'll make a motion to approve upon their approval of proposed changes. If they propose other changes to be reviewed by legal, and allow the chairman and vice chairman to decide.
I'll second.
And then one subject to legal.
Yeah,
If they propose different changes.
subject to legal review. Yeah.
Next item is new business. One is approval of telecommunications services agreement with AT&T, dedicated internet and voice bundle for E911.
Commissioners, this is a service agreement between Meriwether County and AT&T for fiber connectivity, providing internet and telephone service to 911. AT&T is the county's current provider, and the agreement has been reviewed by legal. Staff recommends approval and allowing the chair or vice chair to sign. We did request the 1 year, but they fought back and said that they will only do a 2 year, and Michael can explain the legality behind that part. It really benefited them, but they did not want to accept those changes. So if we wanted to get out of it legally, we could. We're not bound by those terms, if I understand legal correctly.
So the 1 year rule essentially says that you're not supposed to enter into contracts with non-government entities. You know, you can go longer with an IGA that extends beyond 1 year. It doesn't identify what your contribution or what your commitment is for that 1 year period. And if you do, then it's a voidable contract. Usually it is ended up in favor of local governments when that has happened according to case law. The idea being that one board does not bind another board to paying for basically the debt of the previous board.
What's proposed is a 2 year agreement and substantial savings to 911 by running fiber to the building.
Okay, so my question is, if we're looking at kudzu coming in and we've been bound by an agreement with Spectrum, aren't we under the same terms legally that we could have gotten out of that and had kudzu come in already, which would have helped with quite a few of these issues because they also have fiber internet connectivity and those things. So if we were bound by the same contract clause, because it bound us by 2 years under one agreement and 4 under the other, or 6 under the other, it was an odd number.
I'd have to go. I'd have to go look at what she's discussing. But usually, what we're proposing is that you basically do it in 1 year increments with annual renewals, which is
because the terms with Spectrum has been like 5 years and 2 years, so they never would match up. But we were talking about switching to kudzu, and we couldn't because of the agreement with Spectrum, which was charter when we originally did it years ago.
We'd have to take a look at it.
Yeah,
That's a very good point. So look at it and bring it back. Yes. With this agreement here, this is our current provider. We want to continue service with them. And what is the cost change? No cost change?
If I understand correctly, it's over a $20,000 a year savings by running fiber.
But so who's taking the cost of installing the fiber?
The agreement is part of them recouping the cost of installing the fiber in the 911. That's why they wanted a 2 year agreement, so they can recoup their cost of running the fiber line.
Y'all want us to approve an agreement with a current vendor without knowing what the cost is year over year?
Here it is,
Should be in
Sean.
the,
It's in the packet.
Is it?
I believe so.
I apologize for missing it, Dan. Anybody know what it is? Can tell me, save us some time.
Breakdown or something.
depends on the speed.
Yeah, that's the only cost I see, the different options, different speeds and what the bundle rates are. Which one we're gonna be in, how's that compare to current?
We can table this, Mr. Chairman, so I can get those figures approximately for you. I was hoping Director Jones would be on because he's been the one negotiating with AT&T on this.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we table this item to relevant documents to make a decision.
Second.
Table to January
Yeah.
12th, is that good with everybody?
Yes.
So,
This is
all
not
in
a-
favor?
Total.
Next item is approval of memorandum of understanding with Kathy for temporary use of county facility to administer LIHEAP, low income home energy assistance program.
Commissioners, the item for consideration of approval is a memorandum of understanding between Meriwether County and Community Action for Improvement, which is CAFI, to permit the temporary use of county-owned office space for the administration of the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. CAFI administers the federally funded LIHEAP program, which assists low-income households with home energy costs. The county has been asked to make office space available at this building, 17234 Roosevelt Highway, Building B, for this purpose. Under the terms of the MOU, CAFI would be allowed to use available space in the facility for designated weeks during the period from February 6, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, approximately 3 to 4 days per week, excluding Mondays, between the hours of 9:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. The actual schedule and duration of use will depend on the timing of CAFI's program funding. Use of space is subject to availability at the time of need. The MOU permits CAFI to use a general desk and office space, Wi-Fi, parking, and to place a small printer and related administrative equipment. No structural changes may be made to the facility without prior written consent. CAFI is required to maintain a commercial general liability insurance policy in the amount of $1 million per occurrence and $2 million aggregate. The policy must name Meriwether County and its officers and employees as additional insureds. The agreement states that it does not create a landlord-tenant relationship and the county is not responsible for injury or damage to persons or property related to CAFI's use of the premises. CAFI assumes no responsibility for facility maintenance or damage not caused by its actions. The agreement also may be terminated by either party with at least 5 days written notice. Approval of the MOU is recommended by staff. Jennifer Corsione is online if there's any questions for her.
So we're talking about leasing this building.
Just an office in this building. An empty office space.
We have one?
We do. Where there and then Bill Cawthorn used to sit.
Okay. Has legal had a chance to review all of these items that were called out in here?
We have, and I believe they made all of our suggestions.
They did.
Including the insurance.
Any other questions by the board?
I think this is great for our citizens, so they're not having to drive to other areas and try to find a spot. So I make a motion, we approve this MOU with CAFI for the use of the county facility to administer LIHEAP program.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer.
Item 3.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
She said thank you.
Item 3, set Meriwether County qualifying fees for local candidates for 2026 elections and sign the resolution.
Commissioners, the qualifying fees for the 2026 elections must be set and approved by the Board of Commissioners. The positions for the 2026 election include County Commissioner Districts 1, 3, and 5, Board of Education Districts 1, 3, and 5, and the Chief Magistrate Judge. In addition, the Board of Education District 4 will have a special election. The qualifying fees for each position are as follows. County Commissioner, $219.22. Chief Magistrate Judge, $1,798.04. Board of Education, $414. Board of Education Special Election District 4, $414. Staff recommends approval of the qualifying fees and adoption of the resolution establishing the qualifying fees for the 2026 election. The resolution will require the signatures of all members of the Board of Commissioners.
Make a motion to approve.
All in favor? Next is authorization to release maintenance warranty road bond for Chambers Village at Hunter Welch Parkway Phase 2.
Commissioners, Parham Homes LLC, Chambliss Investors LLC, doing business as Chambliss Village at Hunter Welch Parkway, has a second 3-year road bond associated with Phase 2 of the project that is set to expire on December 19, 2025. Public Works Director Brian Griffin has inspected the roadway and approved the release of the bond SU 1190220 in the amount of $345,205. Having determined the road meets all county guidelines, staff recommends releasing bond SU 1190220 in the amount of $345,205.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Next item is approval of temporary closure of County Line Road for bridge repair.
Commissioners, the county will need to close a portion of County Line Road to facilitate bridge improvements and tie-ins at both ends of the existing paved roadway, which is located within Troup County and Meriwether County. A proposed traffic control plan, including a designated detour route to be used during construction is attached. The project schedule, the start date of January 5th, the end date April 17th in 2026. And with this being the majority in Meriwether County, it requires the board of commissioners to require temporary closure of the road.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Item 6. Marshall McLennan Agency Workers' Compensation Review.
Commissioners, Marsh McLennan is the county's workers' compensation provider, and they have submitted the renewal proposal for the period of January 1, 2026 through January 1, 2027. The proposed premium is $143,921. It's reflecting a reduction of $1,207 from the prior year's renewal. Staff recommends approval as this is a budget item for fiscal year 2026 and recommends authorization for the chairman to sign the agreement and bond coverage contingent upon the following change: an update to the earnings figures and exposure chart on page 8.
You wanted the subject to legal review.
Subject to legal review.
Do we know what the update is for the chart on page 8?
They have a new, Chris Walker was our representative and he has left the company. Ben Bryan just presented this a day or two ago, and these are outdated numbers, and I told him he needed updated numbers before we could know exactly what the premium is. So he told us we can bind it with this change. That way we do not have a lapse in coverage.
If you say we need updated numbers to know what the premium is, how are they already establishing the premium?
They're doing it based off of last year's exposure.
So we expect to get favorability or unfavorability with new numbers.
It could go either way. I mean, it's based off of the salaries in each department. With Public Works being fully staffed, we could be looking at a slight increase or even a more decrease. Because it's all based off of calculation, based off of job.
When does it end? December 31st?
January 1st of 2026. And I asked about
previous, and then they'll do an audit.
yes. They'll do an audit for updated numbers and
that's when it can change.
But if we approve tonight for this cost, which is a reduction, and then he updates this chart, and we'll come back with an amendment to more.
they'll come out with an amendment, addendum for it, and then the board can vote on that one. It's just, if we don't, the way I talk with Ben, if we don't approve it, we could have a lapse in coverage until the next meeting.
We don't want that, but it needs to be accurate.
I agree.
Was there not a 30-day window?
I talked to him, I told him the next meeting was the 12th, and we usually get this the middle of the month, and he apologized for not having it in time, because I would have worked all this out and had it.
Seems like they could work it out. If they didn't get it to us in time, I worry about it too, that it could be a huge increase and we not know about it if we go ahead and approve it.
But talking with Ben, he said we can bind it, and if it was not approved, then we would still be covered under the board's subject of review once he gets that data. So it could be binded with changes, pending updated information and approval of the Board of Commissioners at the next meeting.
So we need to approve it at this proposed premium
With an addendum.
with the addendum, and then upon review of that.
Yes,
Just to stop from having lapse coverage.
correct. Because that's my fear on that one. It's 13 days before the next meeting, but we do have 12 days of uncovered just in case.
So I'll make a motion to approve the workers' compensation provider at $143,921. Updated earnings figures on page 8 chart, and any increase in premium be brought back before the board to review before approval at that time.
Allow the chair to sign
Allow the chair to
and
sign.
legal review.
Legal review, yes.
Second.
All in favor? Is that right?
And he assured me he would get it to me the first part of December going forward. This is,
And if there is an increase, they ought to let it go because they didn't have it in time. Bye. Next is report from county administrator.
Commissioners, I spoke with Dean and the radios are scheduled to be here the first of the year. I think Justin was here, but they are proposed to be here for the sheriff's office by the first of the year in their hands. The covered bridge, the graffiti under on the concrete, I'm getting with Public Works to clean that up. We just got to figure out a way to, if they have a water tank to get out of water pressure because it's on the concrete, along with putting in the 3-inch on both sides of the guardrails, welding that in with Public Works, trying to coordinate that with them. If not, I'll hire a contractor to go out there and do it. Got an update on the LMIG project for 2025. CW Matthews came back and told EMC that the earliest he can get a crew in the Meriwether County will be mid-February. We were told December 15th will be the start date. So now it's pushed out 60 days. Mid-February.
2 months.
And that's from CW Matthews.
And where are they starting at first?
Should be
come and start at everything.
I believe everything. Chris didn't go into specific details. This is just from Joe, I guess, that CW Matthews that earliest he can get a crew in the Meriwether will be mid-February.
So if we're starting 2 months later, with what happens if it comes close to that date and they tell us again that they still can't get to it for another month or two? We still have to wait on, or can we make a decision?
The contract should have so many days to proceed. We'll pull that contract and see how many
We need to
days.
look and then make sure we're covered on that, and then that will be an increase in cost, like this airport fiasco a couple years ago. Because it's not, I mean, we approved everything a year ago, 11 and.
Usually the contract, I think, starts within.
Contract, I have to go back and look at it.
But
Completion date too.
yeah, there should be a completion date and everything in that one. We'll pull it and verify everything.
We need to pull whatever levers we can to where we don't get treated like this. And I don't know that this is only intentional or what, but it feels intentional. And you're sitting here with the bad roads and you see other people getting their roads paved. We've got the money to approve it. We're gonna sit here waiting. Whose road are you paving? It's more important. Our money's just as green and good as anybody else's.
I totally agree, Mr.
We
Chairman.
got a problem and a disconnect here somewhere, whether it's EMC, CW Matthews, or our communication with them. It needs to get fixed in a hurry.
Yeah, because we got very good weather right now that they could be out there paving the roads. I've confirmed that we will be getting 4 more trucks from the sheriff's office due to the Ford Wranglers that were purchased. Once they get outfitted, they'll rotate them down. I have one being painted now. It will go to building and zoning, and then their truck will go to recreation, and then we'll rotate another truck to get painted. That is being done here in Greenville. And I just like to wish the staff, the commissioners, the attorney, a Merry Christmas.
I do have one thing. We just need a reminder that Highway 362 is going to be closed from January 6th until midsummer for the Red Oak Creek Bridge replacement. I think they've got a sign up now letting everybody know. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I did have one more thing, Mr. Committee. I forgot all about it. I'd like to recognize County Clerk Ms. Stevens. She attained her master's in public administration. She fought hard and worked hard for that, and for that, I'm very proud of her getting that done.
We all are.
Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any report from county commissioners, Commissioner Sniffen?
I would just like to say I attended, Commissioner King and I both attended the banquet they had for the 9U football team. Those kids are outstanding kids and have really worked hard and had a fantastic season. They won their Super Bowl and only lost 1 game this year. I'm super proud of them. I'm thankful for the citizens who voted for me. I've completed my first year as a commissioner, and I can honestly say I love it. Moving forward, I'd like to look into, I went and saw our county morgue, and I've been talking about some possible locations to maybe relocate due to some issues. And so I want citizens who have brought that to my attention to know that we are going to look into improvement there. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
Commissioner King?
Same thing to all the staff, to employees throughout the county, family, citizens, taxpayers, so forth. I wish them all a wonderful Christmas. We won't have another meeting, so I'll say a happy new year too. And I just look forward to going to 26 and we keep moving forward as a team and we're getting things done.
Very good.
Just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody and a Happy New Year.
Mr. Collins?
I just want to thank the staff and employees for all the job they do and tell everybody Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I did reach out to Tony Richardson about the closure of 362. And he's with the DOT, and I told him to be careful and try to put up enough signage to where nobody detoured down Jones Mill Road to collapse the bridge over the mill pond. Those 18 wheelers will collapse.
Yeah, in fact,
That's all I have.
I forgot to mention that too. We got a very concerned with Massengale Mill Road who comes out from the other side towards Jones Mill Road. I reached out to Brian at the Public Works, and what they did, they moved the sign real close to the highway so truck drivers cannot say, oh, I didn't see it, and I couldn't back up. And then they went ahead and put a bridge sign there with a 3-ton limit right there, 2 or 3 miles before the bridge, but so they'll know they don't need to carry a load because they're going to start cutting through there. The GPS will tell you to cut through Massengale Mill Road, and there's a little small bridge there that's not going to hold up.
That's what I refer to.
The same one on the lane? Oh, I thought there was one on Jones Mill too.
No, that's just a regular bridge.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the little concrete bridge that goes over the mill pond.
Yeah, okay, that's Massengale Mill Road. Yes, sir.
All right. I would just thank the staff and everyone for what they do, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Do we have a report from county attorney?
No report from me. Merry Christmas, everyone. I do believe we have need for executive session.
Correct.
So future meetings and notices will be closed in observance of Christmas holidays. Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. Friday, December 26th, 2025. Oh, from the 24th through Friday, December 26th. All 3 days, 24th, 25th, 26th. Yeah. Monday, January 12th, 2026 is a regular meeting at 6 p.m. Closed in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, January 19th, 2026. Tuesday, January 27th, 2026 is a regular meeting at 6 p.m. And then we will be closed Thursday, January the 1st for New Year's Day. I need a motion to go into executive session for litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax matters. So moved. Second. All in favor? Executive session at 6:51.
I make a motion to go back and session.
Second.
All in favor? Executive session at 8:09.
Commissioners, we need to request for a 911 employee to have extended leave without pay.
Motion to approve the request.
Second.
Favor? Motion passed. Any other business come forward, board?
No, sir.
Motion we adjourn. Second. All in favor? We adjourn.